If you cannot have a positive mindset when you're starting a business, you will fail.
10% of something is better than 100% of nothing.
The real goal is do really well so we can help more people.
Welcome to my Elevated podcast. This is Matthew. I'm your host. Today I have the honor of having on Rachel and Jordan, and they are going to tell us about their medical business that they own. Welcome, Rachel and Jordan.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Excited to be here.
Thank you for coming. I am ecstatic to have you. Let's start off with the business that you two own. What inspired you to start this business, and tell us a little bit about the business.
Sure. So I tend to be a little bit more on the natural, some people call it woo-woo side of things, holistic. And I love the idea of really finding the root cause of a problem. Let's not just go to the doctor and guess and check prescriptions to make people feel better. Let's really solve the problem, and then they will feel better. And I've had a lot of health issues throughout the years. When I was 19, I was diagnosed with tons of stuff that I no longer have. And all of that has been through many different means of healing that aren't necessarily Western medicine, right? Not really from our culture traditionally. I mean, I think things are getting a lot better. And so that's definitely one of the things as we've looked into businesses, that one really sparked our interest because we're kind of firm believers of, let's find the root cause and let's really fix things. Let's get into the regenerative, restorative medicine. And so that was really kind of a push from my perspective. And then I'll let Jordan answer as well.
For me, it was very exciting because it's an industry, healthcare, right? Like it's going to be in demand for the rest of our lives.
For sure.
Right? Like it's not going anywhere anytime soon. So I loved the demand, but then it's also great to be able to work with people and help them reach their health and wellness goals. Like who's not happier after they lose 50 pounds? Right? Like myself, I've lost 75 pounds doing our weight loss protocol. Wow. And let me tell you, there's one person in here that's more happy about it than I am. And it's her right there, right? Like
sure.
I'm healthy. I'm going to be around for a much longer time now. Right? Like, so it's a fun space to be in.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. Let's go back to modern medicine and kind of the issue with that. What are your opinions on modern medicine, doctors? What's the issue?
I think there's a big part of that is just the way our education system is. There is a certain curriculum and type of thing that the doctors and nurses go through, whereas, if you're a nutritionist, for example, well, you're going to get this huge spectrum. Well, nutrition is a huge part of how we heal and our bodies, and they maybe got one class or, and so there's something that's really missing. My he's a pharmacist. And so I'll ask him questions about different ways to attack different problems. Cause obviously we still believe in Western medicine, didn't, rewind that there's always a time and a place. But I think it's just a matter of, when you learn things a certain way, whether it's your parents always taught you a certain way and that's how we do things or whatever. But when you learn things a certain way in school, sometimes you're not as open to other approaches. And so if you only had this like 1% of your education focused on nutrition or whatever else, you probably don't value it or think it's as important. And you're just on the track that you learned and that's the way you go. And you might not be open-minded to other modalities and things that come throughout the years. And sometimes they haven't been invented yet. And sometimes they've actually been around for thousands of years, right? So I think that's probably a big part of that. We talk a lot about our backgrounds, how Jordan was raised with how his parents are or how I am because of my parents and our family culture. And there's the extremes of, some people don't believe in going to a chiropractor and other people like that's like my go-to, and so it's all about where we come from, I think a lot, and our culture and what we're open to also, if you've never had a bunch of health problems that you've never had resolved, then maybe you've never been willing to be open-minded because you've not had an issue. But if
Yeah.
you have, you're willing to try everything to get better and to feel okay and not wake up in the middle of the night in pain or whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? It's like, it just kind of depends on where you're coming from and how you attack things. And so I think that's a huge part of it.
Yeah. How do we get where we're at now, right? A lot of it has to do with, like Rachel mentioned, the food that we eat.
Mm-hmm.
30, 40 years ago, it wasn't high processed flours, it wasn't high processed sugars,
Right.
it wasn't seed oils that we're all consuming today, it wasn't microplastics that are now in our diets, right, that are affecting our bodies. And that's kind of the basis of it, right? Like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist by any means, but oftentimes big pharma pushes one thing and, they get their way, right? Doctors can be influenced by them, as we've seen.
Right.
So, unfortunately, it seems like the go-to answer is, okay, what pill can we prescribe you to help alleviate these symptoms?
Yeah.
Like Rachel mentioned, let's find the underlying root cause of the issue and fix that instead, right? When I was 75 pounds ago, right, I would get headaches almost on a weekly basis, right? My headaches have gone away, right? So my go-to answer when I got a headache was, let me take ibuprofen, let me take Tylenol, Advil, whatever it is, right? And now it's like, okay, well, have I drank enough today? Am I well hydrated, right? Did I get enough sleep, right? When's the last time I actually did some exercise, walked around, right? There are other methods that we can do to help alleviate our pain and issues and problems. So that's what really got us super excited with the industry. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are focused on that as well. They're looking for an alternative approach to healthcare and being healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. And I'm completely on the same page as you two with that. Since a young age, when you go to the doctor, they just give you pills. And that isn't the answer. You know what I mean? That tricks our brain into thinking that the body is cured when it's not. You still have inflammation. You still have all these issues, right? My father, who passed away last year at this time he passed away from cancer. And it was one of those things where the doctors just kept throwing drugs at him, right? And there's so many things that I think he could have done if he was more willing, or if the doctors maybe opened his mind a little bit more. And so I'm like you, I'm super grateful that we have doctors, right?
Yeah.
I'm super grateful for the modern medicine that we do have, because there's a time and a place, right? But if you're just throwing pills at a problem, and then you need more pills to fix those pills, right? And then if those pills give you side effects such as heart attack, I mean, you see it on TV, right?
All the time, yeah.
Up on an ad, it shows, hey, let's take this pill to cure this. And then down in the fine print below, it says, may cause heart attack, stroke. And I'm like, what in the world? Why are we taking this if it's going to kill us?
Yeah.
Right? So, 100% on the same page with that. And so let's dive deeper into your specific business. What exactly is it, and what do you offer? What can people expect if they walked into your clinic?
So our clinic is called PUR Life Medical. We are in, obviously, the health and wellness space. We have three main areas of focus right now. The first would be medically assisted weight loss. Almost 80% of our health issues can be attributed to people being overweight,
100%,
right?
yeah.
So right now, the super popular ones out there are the semaglutide and the tirzepatide, which are the weight loss peptides. And I'll be very clear about that. That is what helped me to lose the weight. It is an excellent weight loss tool. It is not the end-all be-all answer. If you're on it for 6 months and lose 30 pounds, but then you go off it, but your habits are still the same, where you're eating crappy food, not working out, haven't changed your lifestyle, guess what? That weight's going to come right back on, right? So we use that as a tool to help our clients that need to lose 50, 60, 70, 80 plus pounds, right? Second would be hormone replacement therapy. We use a plant-based bioidentical hormone that has been able to get people amazing results to help optimizing our hormones. We talked earlier about the lack of good quality vitamins and minerals that we get from our food and the damages that these microplastics and high processed seed oils are doing to our bodies. We are left with not enough good foundational supplements for our bodies to create said testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, what we need. And hormones do so much for our bodies. So many things for our bodies, right?
Yeah.
So protecting our joints, protecting us muscles, helping us build and maintain more muscle, right? Increases our metabolism. For women, it's a protection for the breasts, protection for our heart, protection for our brains, everything. It does so much good stuff. Did you know that estrogen is a natural fat burner?
Oh, I did not.
If women don't have enough estrogen, you can picture almost any women over 50, 60 years old, right? If they haven't had it for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years,
They got that natural
it's like they've
look.
got a little
Yeah.
pouch going on, right?
Yep.
It's like, okay, I wonder why she hasn't had enough estrogen in their bodies.
Same
right?
with men and testosterone.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
If you don't have testosterone as a man, you're going to get flubby. You're not going to have
Totally.
the muscle mass. Your energy is going to be very low.
Big time.
Okay,
Yeah. For me, since I've been doing the hormones personally, it's easier to get to the gym. It's easier to work out. My recoveries are faster. I've been able to put on muscle heal easier. My metabolism has increased, right? I sleep better at night. Hormones do so many awesome things for our bodies.
Yes.
So the medically assisted weight loss, hormone replacement therapy, and then stem cells. That's probably my most favorite that we offer. Like stem cells are amazing. Stem cells are undifferentiated pluripotent cells, meaning they can become what our body tells them to become.
Oh.
So they can literally become whatever it is that we need in our body. So my personal story with stem cells, I was playing pickleball. I wish this was a better story. I was playing pickleball with my wife, Rachel, did a nice little plant, heard a pop in my foot.
Oh.
Go to the doctor, get the MRI, right? I had a grade 3 tear in the perioneal tendon. That tendon is responsible for your foot not going like this,
Okay.
right? So doctor looks at the MRI, says, yep, you need surgery. We have to break the bones in your foot, reattach the tendons, reset the bones. You're going to be in a wheelchair for a full year.
Jesus.
I was
Just
like,
from pickleball, huh?
just for pickleball, exactly.
I mean, isn't that an old person
It
sport?
really is.
No, I'm going to get a lot of flack for that. I'm
Yeah.
kidding. It's not an old person
Don't
sport.
embarrass me
Yeah.
more than I already am, right? You're exactly right, though. So here's the thing. The doctor's like, you're going to be in that wheelchair for a full year. And I said, I literally can't do that.
Yeah.
We had our first son on the way. My wife's going to be dealing with 2 babies, right? Like it's not going to happen, right?
2 babies. One much bigger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I ended up doing some research. I found a place that does stem cells, right? They did an injection right in the bottom of my foot. I was in a walking boot for 2 months. After the 2 months, took the walking boot off. Pain was gone. Tendon was completely healed. Did you know how I know? Doctor ordered another MRI and showed on the MRI this tendon is completely healed.
Wow.
So stem cells, they have the ability to receive their lineage, so to speak, right? The body can say, hey, I need you to be bone. I need you to be tendon. I need you to be white blood cells. I need you to be whatever to help us heal. We're all born with millions and millions of stem cells. But as we get older, they get old just like we do. That's why now when we tweak an ankle, it takes, 6 months to recover instead of, 2 weeks when we were a kid, right? We just get old and we age. So that's why we use these undifferentiated stem cells to help the body heal. It literally is the most natural medicine out there, right?
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah, those are our 3 main focuses. Anything else that, as far as our clinic goes?
I would just say, pain.
Pain's a big
the
one.
red light beds, they address all the things. I love the red light
reducing
bed.
circulation.
Yeah.
Helps firm and tighten our skin, helps develop more melatonin so we sleep better at night. If we sleep better, we get more rest, more recovery, right? It's like the sleep epidemic right now going on in our country is massive. Like we have like all those blue screens that we're on, even myself, right? 5 minutes before bed, right? I finally turn off, it's going to have long-term damage for us.
Can I
sure.
get a snippet of him saying this to repeat to himself every
No, you
night
cannot.
when I'm
Yeah.
like, just get off
Yeah.
your phone. Just get off. Yeah.
I'm working on it. I'm still human, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying.
For sure.
I'm trying. Yeah.
It's like, this isn't good for you. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. He just said it. Quote.
But isn't that the truth though with most things when it comes to our health? We know that the Big Mac or the Whopper isn't good for us,
We still
and yet
just
because it's so
devour it.
convenient, we go to it, right? Like we all know how to be healthy. The hard thing is like being persistent and consistent enough with our decisions to stay healthy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you for pointing that out though on the podcast. Yeah.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna get a lot of
Hey,
flack for that one. Holy
there's
cow.
millions of us that are in the same
Yes.
boat. You know what I
Thank
mean?
goodness.
And
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
actually been trying my hardest to read a book for
Yeah.
15 minutes
Right.
before, and I put my phone away from me, right? I try
for
to
you.
read a book, and you can tell a difference in the morning when you get off that phone or your computers. But our lives are surrounded by it. I mean,
Yeah.
we have
Everywhere.
cameras, we have screens, we have phones. Like we have to have it.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I gotta ask, the doctor that ordered the surgery and then did the MRI and you were healed from stem cells.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What did he say?
So he's like, this is amazing, obviously. He wished he could do it in his clinic, but guess what? Stem cells are not covered by insurance. Yeah. You
What a
named it.
bunch of garbage.
And here,
oh my gosh.
that's I kind of feel like that's the reason why they're not covered is because they work
so
so well.
miraculous.
They really are, right?
Wow.
Like it's
Well, and it's unfortunate. So when we've got this, what is the book called? Stem cells something. Anyway, basically they are not FDA approved, but they can't be because of so many reasons. I mean, think about it. The reason that Big Pharma gets these prescriptions FDA approved is they have really, really expensive studies. How are those paid for? The purchase of the medicine. Well, it's not the same process for stem cells, and there's no one that's going to sign up for this big study with no future sale of all these stem cells in a pretty little bottle that they just pump out like
that
crazy,
insurance
right?
will pay for. Yeah.
So it's like this catch-22 of people get scared of, oh, they're not FDA approved. And it's like, well, that's not a bad thing. The actual facility is
FDA compliant.
right. And the FDA does go there and make sure, right? And so where we get our stem cells is the best, top of the line, most efficient, most effective in the country, actually. You can tell that story.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things that's like, well, until people know that, and they're not going to just hear that and ad and be like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter that it's FDA approved and just like buy it, right? But it's like, it's just the process and the way it works. That's never going to happen. Unless someone just wants to drop billions of dollars for funsies and
Right.
Yeah.
with no benefit at the end, besides helping people, which would be great.
Sure. If that was the goal, that would be we would be in a much better spot, right?
Yeah.
Quick tidbit on that. FDA will never actually approve stem cells because it is a human biologic, right? It's literally umbilical cord and placental tissue, right? So there's no way for them to approve it, because each body reacts differently to stem cells, right? So you could, for example, inject my knee with stem cells, but some of those might migrate to my ears with hearing loss, or my eyes to help my eyes. Like, your body tells the stem cells to go wherever it's needed in your body. Our bodies are so incredibly smart, right? Yeah. And so that's another reason why it will never have that FDA approval, right? It's not possible.
So is it possible for someone who is deaf or blind? I may be going way too extreme here, but if I have a hearing problem, 100%, right? If I have a little bit of hearing loss and I've had that since birth because of a fever, can I go get stem cell?
That's great question. And I'll be honest, I have no idea. Okay. Our medical director who does all the injections, he might know better than that, right? But I will tell you this great story. We had this amazing, cute older lady in our clinic. This is about 3-4 months ago. She got an injection in her knee because she had some, damage to her meniscus, right? So the injection in her knee, she calls me back a week later and says, Jordan, I swear I can see better. I swear I can hear better, because our sight and our hearing is the first thing to go as we age. So some of those stem cells migrated, and she's like, I don't need my glasses as much. I can read longer without them. This is crazy, right? And it's totally due to the stem cells, right? Yeah. And again, each body reacts differently. So great question. I just don't know the answer to that.
Right. And it's not necessarily like, there might not be an answer. Just like he said, our bodies react differently. It's the same thing with essential oils or herbs or anything, right? Every body is going to react differently to, I might say, oh, this worked really good for my heartburn. Put this oil on your chest and whatever. And I actually had someone tell me that when I was pregnant with my first son, and I tried it, and I'm like, I believe in essential oils working for different cases. And I was like, it didn't do anything for me. But I have another friend that it was like miracle for her. Right. So like, it just depends where. I'm sure the medical director could probably tell you more details, and he might have experience with that particular case because he's been doing it for over a decade. But it might be one of those things as well. Is it worth, X thousands of dollars to see, okay, if it doesn't help your hearing, it could still help the rest of your body. Do I want to risk trying? Maybe. What if it's that worth getting your hearing back? Yeah, I'm gonna put a few $1,000s on the line and try. You know what I mean? Like, that would be my comment of like, I'm that type of person. I got an IV of stem cells after I had my second son. And it's just like, hey, do I feel like, I need so much and I'm dying? No, but I'm going to like help my body recover as much as possible because I know it's there and it's a possibility that it could improve more. Great. Yeah. Right? Like, I'm not 25.
Did you want to share your story about with your COVID, having lost your taste and smell?
Oh, yeah. I got stem cells. So I got an IV, but I also decided to do intranasal. So it's basically feels like how they used to do the COVID tests with the Q-tip over up each nostril. And it just like, your eye kind of waters. And so it's really not as bad as it sounds. It's like you're sticking a needle up my nose, like what? But it really wasn't that bad. It was just like getting a COVID test, which we've all done, I think. And my
against our will, right? Those of us who had to travel.
But do you want to leave the country or not? Or do you want to get back in the country or not?
Gotta do it.
And I did that for my taste and smell because it was very much 100% gone when I got COVID for quite a while. And then it was like creeping, but it was years, 3 or 4 years. It's been a long time since 2020, 2021.
Yeah, we're getting away from it.
And I noticeably can taste those differences that I was lacking before because I I would never know really, but I'd put a number on it. Like, I think my taste and smell are like at 35, 40% back.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, okay, I can notice the difference between this flavor and this flavor. Like my big thing is like, I can tell categories. So like sweet or sour or spicy, but within those, like if you did a taste test with like ice cream flavors before the stem cell shot, I don't know, is this chocolate or
She couldn't
It was
Man.
just
differentiate,
cold
right?
and
Yeah.
dairy and
like it's
wonderful,
like
but you had
it
no
tastes
flavor.
sweet
Mm,
and that's nice, but I couldn't tell if it was like chocolate or vanilla or like
Wow.
it's like,
that's a bummer.
which sounds so weird,
That is
right?
a
But it's
bummer,
like
yeah.
but it would be like whatever, it's sweet, So now it's like it continues to, they're in you for like a year plus, right? You've got billions of cells, and so it just continues to like get a little better. Where I'll be like, I can tell that flavor. It's kind of
Very
like
cool.
exciting.
That's exciting. Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty neat.
Wow, that's a super cool story. And so, with something this awesome, right? Like now, I'm excited to
Yeah.
to get some stem
Yeah.
cells, right? Let's see what I can fix. Can I
Yes.
hear better, or what's
Yeah.
going on? But
Totally.
so is it expensive to do this?
So that's a great question. And I feel like that answer is it's all relative, right? Where it's like, for me, just using my foot as the example, I'd have surgery. Yes, insurance would cover it. I'd still have to pay the copay or whatever out of pocket.
Yep.
But then I was literally going to be in a wheelchair for a full year. What does that year of my time look like to me,
Yeah.
right? Whereas we did the stem cell injection, I was in a walking boot. I never had to be in, crutches, a wheelchair, anything like that. I could still work. I could still do what I needed to. And it healed it 100%.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to risk breaking the bones of my foot just so they could get to the tendon, right? So it is all relative. And that's the thing. People are going to pay what they pay for healthcare, right, when it comes to it. But I will say this, in the state of Utah where we're at, we love Utah. They're super forward on stem cells and injections and all that good stuff. We are extremely price competitive when it comes to stem cells, for sure. We've done it that way just because we want to be able to help as many people as possible.
Yeah.
And our medical director, his name is Steve Cox. He's been doing it for almost 10 years. He absolutely loves helping people. We've got people with hip issues, knee, back, shoulder, neuropathy. I had no clue neuropathy was as big as it was, the degeneration of our nerves, right?
Oh, okay.
And so he's helping these people build back the feeling in their nerves, which is just
Wow.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So, we are very, very price competitive when it comes to stem cells here in Utah.
I
Very
do
cool.
want to add something too to that is, yes, it helps you avoid surgery, but having, we're both college athletes. I played volleyball in college. Jordan played basketball and football. We've had plenty of injuries and surgeries between the two of us. So we do have experience in that area. And when it gets down to it, I hope people aren't out there assuming surgery actually solves their problem all the time, because that's so not true.
No.
So that's an aspect of it where it's like, well, in my opinion, you should avoid surgery as long and as far as possible.
If you can,
if
right?
you
Yeah,
can,
for sure.
because I've had 2 knee surgeries, and my knees don't need surgery. They need some regression therapy. I need to go back and do the very basic exercises and get my knee firing immediately, which it just has stopped doing. But instead, well, you've got a tear in your meniscus. Let's shave that down again. And I was still unstable after my successful surgery. Well, I shouldn't have had it. I didn't need it. My meniscus wasn't bothering me. It was my instability because my knee wasn't firing. I need to do exercise. I need to do, PT from someone who knows exactly how to regress my knee back to that point where it fires when there's any type of motion, right? Like baby steps back to like your body should know that at birth, right?
Yeah.
And my knee forgot, right? Like, so those types of things, it's like, if you're thinking about surgery, maybe surgery actually isn't going to solve the problem anyway. So let's try something else. Not only can you avoid surgery, but actually, again, solve the real problem. And stem cells know how to do that. And they know where to go and they know what to become. And so it's like the win-win-win of all the things are the stem cells.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we can't put a price. I loved your answer because we can't put a price on our health, right? And if we are healthy, if we are fit, if we have muscle mass, if our bodies are functioning correctly and our brains are functioning correctly, right? If our teeth are taken care of, like the dentist and all this stuff, like all of this stuff costs money, but it's an essential part of life that we have to have in order to be able to show up to work, right? To show up if we have kids, to be a good parent for them, right? To be a good citizen in society. This stuff has to get taken first. And so at the end of the day, you can't put a price on your health. And we need to be open-minded, right? We need to have an open mind around all these other things that could potentially help us, right? Maybe it's not for you, and you two said that perfectly. But maybe it is for you. And if it is, why not rock it?
Yeah.
Why not go
Absolutely.
in there and get all that stuff handled? And maybe for the first time in 10, 20, 30 years, you're feeling amazing because of this thing you don't understand.
Right.
That's okay. There are professionals who understand it for you.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of professionals in their field,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
right?
I
Yeah.
love that.
Exactly.
One thing I will mention, just to piggyback on Rachel, because we have a lot of people, like, for example, we had a gentleman that tore his ACL in his knee. Stem cells will not reattach the ACL, right? That literally has to be done by a doctor, go in and reattach the ACL, right?
Yeah.
So it's not a end all be all miracle. But what they did do for this gentleman, because he did a stem cell injection 2 days after his operation, his recovery was that much faster.
Wow.
Because it's
Right.
all those cells that are becoming exactly what his body needs at that moment, which is a brand spanking new ACL, right? Helping it to heal and recover.
Yeah.
So, and again, that's just modern medicine having its place, right? Like, I often think of, pioneers or whatever, people crossing the plains that tore a rotator cuff or whatever. It's like, good luck, right? Like, there's no recovering from that, right?
No,
Like, so
no, yeah.
we are so lucky and so blessed to be living in this day and age, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things that I like to think about is God blesses us with lemons, right?
Yeah.
And then us as humans need to take those lemons and make it into lemonade,
Right.
right? And if you're one of those people who's so closed off to all these other things that are out there, don't push God's lemons away,
Yeah.
right? Just because you don't like lemonade, maybe it tastes bad, maybe you don't like it, but maybe it could help you, right?
So true.
So very cool. So to start a business like this, because I know there's people out there that are thinking, I want to help people and I want to be in the medical space, right? What type of money does it take to start a medical business like this?
Well, we are part of a franchise, so there's a franchise fee, and then the big portion of everything for us was an SBA loan.
Okay.
So
Equipment, build out of our space, all that kind of stuff.
so we took over a year, almost a year and a half, to find the right space that we wanted to move into with our partners. And once we found that space and we had already paid, the franchise fee and everything, that was the bigger piece. And so that ended up being about $500,000 in an SBA loan.
Okay.
Yeah. So franchise fee was $47,000, and then we're up in Cottonwood Heights, Utah. PUR Life Medical, gorgeous location. Come on down,
Yeah.
right? Like, come
100%.
check us out. But so just under $500,000 to build everything out, which is nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. And then how much, if someone starts a business, so you took out an SBA loan, $500,000, got everything built out, how much revenue can someone expect from a business like this?
Great question. So similar clinics that do a lot of the same things that we do, the hormones, weight loss, stem cells, right? Oftentimes like they're med spas, so they'll do facials and, things like that as well. But you can expect to earn anywhere from $1.5 to $2 million a year, right? This would be after all expenses are paid, right? So it can be very profitable. The nice thing, one of the deciding factors when Rachel and I decided to go into this industry instead of like just buying a Chick-fil-A or a McDonald's franchise was the food industry is a $1 billion a year industry, where healthcare is a $3 trillion a year industry.
Wow.
People are always going to be sick. They're always going to need healthcare.
Yep.
Obviously, they're always going to need to eat too, right? But it's like, let's help as well as get people healthy and feeling good, right?
Yeah.
So demand is always going to be there.
For sure. Yeah. And instead of being part of the problem,
Yeah.
owning McDonald's,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're part of the solution,
For sure.
which is
Right.
helping people become
Yeah.
healthy. And that's such a greater journey in life, is
Absolutely.
helping others become more healthy.
Right. We
Yeah.
really did talk about that. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, Crumble or,
Yeah.
Raising Cane's, they're coming in. And since then they're very popular in Utah. But yeah, it was like, no, yeah, I'm the one begging you to stop going to those places. Why would we want to open those? Right. Yeah. Let's not be a part of the problem.
Yeah.
So it's really true. We really did talk
That's
about
twice you've thrown me under the bus on this podcast.
Counting.
Okay, yeah,
Check.
definitely counting here for sure. Okay.
How did you two obtain the necessary funds in order to get an SBA loan for that amount?
That
Good question.
started years ago, right? So we've always been interested in real estate. And a lot of that equity in homes that we've purchased that we run other businesses through, that's what's the collateral for that loan.
Gotcha.
So we started 6 years ago, 5 years ago.
2019,
We've moved a lot.
Mhm.
We've done it kind of the bootstraps way
Okay.
of, okay, we're going to buy a new home and we're going to move into it. And therefore we have less of a down payment or, and so I think we've moved way too much in our 6-year marriage. So
But like honestly, if you want to make it in this world today, it's like hard work, elbow grease, right?
Yeah.
Like I get like moving can be difficult, can be stressful, but it's like, look at what that got us. Now it got us a rental property, right? And we can rent that out and it's building equity and somebody else is paying for our mortgage and covering that cost, right? So our opinion, we felt like it was well worth it, but yeah.
While you were going through that, did you have a long-term plan that eventually you wanted to own a business like this? Or did you just kind of flow with the journey and it presented itself one day?
We always wanted to own a business, right? And we're still always very open to other business ideas. But this opportunity came along and we just kind of fell in love with it. I think our backgrounds are just kind of literally tailor-made for this industry, right? Like I love the red light bed so much. You guys have no idea. It's so awesome. Like part of the reason we went this particular route is because, we need all these services, right? And we know so many other people too that also need these services as well, right? So I don't know. We're always looking for business ideas, but this one just kind of felt right. It's like, let's help people. Let's get in an industry with a lot of demand and let's take advantage of as owners and use our sauna, use our red light, use our sound wave machine, right? Use all this stuff that we have access to. So
the only thing is wishing we lived right next
a
door.
little bit closer.
Because I wish I got there more to utilize the red light bed.
So essentially, you didn't buy a business; you just bought a playground for yourself,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Totally.
I'm doing it wrong. I need to
100%.
buy something that I just want to play with all the time,
So
and then
true.
make it my business, right? That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's following your passion is what it is, right? You have a passion for helping people. You have a passion for the red light therapy, the stem cells, the curing people, the health, and it shows. You love your business. You want to help people, and that's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So since you're so fresh in starting this business, right? It's been just under a year, right? What mindset have you had to have in order to grow this thing successfully?
So much positivity.
Honestly, but here's the thing. Attitude, I was literally watching a clip yesterday. An 11-year-old kid asked a college basketball coach, what's more important, attitude or technique, right? And the coach said, that's such a great question. The answer is easy. It's attitude. Because I can teach you technique, but if you don't have the right attitude, you're not going to go anywhere.
100%.
So here's the thing. We know wholeheartedly that people need the services that we provide. So while we're not necessarily in the medical field, we're learning as we go. Thank goodness we've got a medical director. He's a PA. He's actually the first independent PA in the state of Utah, Steve Cox. And then our NP, she does all of our weight loss and our hormone clients. Let's let the professionals, like you said earlier, let's the professionals handle it.
Yes.
But we know this is in high demand. So I think for us, it's been that positive attitude. And just sending out those good vibes. We know there are people out there because we talk to them every day that need our services, right? So for me personally, it's just been that good positive attitude.
Yeah, we talk about having that positive mindset and like the law of attraction and what you put out there. And so we will literally, it's like, okay, bring the fish. Like I have a friend that, she's very big on law of attraction, and her husband just wanted a lot of fish. And it's like, that's all you have to do really is, hey, whoever it needs these services, like we're praying for you or whatever, right? It's like, we know that we're going to market the right way, or they're going to be in a business that we have a relationship with that is aware of us, and they're going to find us. So we're just going to keep putting out those vibes that they're going to be led to Pure Life, right? Because that's going to make it work. It's just person by person, and the right person that's a really good referrer is going to come and they're going to tell their friends, right? Like just having that positive attitude, we know it's just going to come back around because it just does. And we've had that proven to us so many times, right? Just by having that positive mindset.
Yeah. And I think if you cannot have a positive mindset when you're starting a business, you will fail 100% of the time, because starting a business is hard. There's just no other way to say it, right? Starting a business is hard. And I like to picture a duck, right? The duck is sitting on top of the water, we're all very chill here. We own businesses. We're very nice people. We're positive, but underneath our legs are kicking like crap underneath the water, right?
For sure.
And so we're all like ducks. And so,
Yeah.
the positivity mindset, the visualization, the law of attraction, that's such a wonderful answer. Thank you for sharing that. What daily habits do you two have in order to get yourself in that positive mindset to run your business efficiently?
That's a great question.
Yeah. So for me, my daily routine has been a bit because I have a 5.5-month-old. We have a 5.5-month
No,
old.
it's just hers.
Yeah.
Apparently, yeah.
He works.
Yeah.
The kid, right?
Yeah. I'm the sole provider.
Yeah.
No, but because, I'm the one that's getting up and
Mhm.
feeding him and whatever. It's definitely, I'm getting in the clear. We are so lucky,
Yeah.
right? He's a good sleeper. We're there, right? But my routine has not been as consistent as I would like, right? But meditation is huge, and using that visualization, and praying and all of those things. I really like writing down. Like, we're both really big on writing down your goals and making those present. Like, we have our vision board
Yeah.
literally in our bathroom. Like,
Yes.
we will
Where
see
you
it
can see
every day.
Yes.
Like, we're pointing to it and talking about it. He's got a note card with his weight goal right there on his mirror.
Yep.
We've always got those visual cues, the words, whatever, and we're constantly, we always joke that every date is a business date, and like, take a picture of that receipt, because we're always talking about business and goals and the next thing. And so, that morning routine, even though it's maybe not as great as it used to be or whatever, the working out part is where I'm lacking, but that sets you up for your day, right? It energizes you to be like, okay, you're grounded in what you want and what you're looking for, and your focus is there. Whereas if you're not doing anything, you're not working out, whatever it is, like Jordan's been working out before work, and that makes a huge difference, I think, for him, that I've seen, and he can speak to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just gets me in the right mindset where, you're active. Your mind is primed, focused, and ready to go, right? And that's why I'm such a proponent for getting your workout done early. It's the frog that you have to eat every day, right? We all know that we need to do it, but if you get it done, you're done. Then you have the rest of the day. But again, it gets your heart going. It releases those endorphins, gets you that dopamine rush. Coming back to your question, and I love that question. One of the things that Rachel and I have done this year is kind of had an attitude of gratitude. Because we really are so extremely blessed and grateful for everything that we have been given. And I think the more grateful we realize that we are, the more abundance will come our way, because then the more opportunities we have to help others. We both have members of our family that need help, and we're so excited to be able to help them, right? But like, one of the things that we would do is just like have prayers of gratitude, where we're just saying everything that we're thankful for, because we really have so much stuff.
Yeah.
2 amazing boys, beautiful home, amazing business, right? We both love each other, right? Like, look at my wife, she's gorgeous, right? Obviously, like, so I mean, there's just so much stuff, even like the daily food that we can eat each day, and take time off to be able to do stuff like this and chat with great people and get to know them even better. There's so much to be grateful for. In that habit of gratitude, like, we've been able to see and expand and just be that much more grateful for everything that we do have.
Right.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, so our son Jackson loves reading, loves it. Like, no joke, for a kid his age, like, he's 3.5, he could sit there and read. You could read to him for 2 hours, and he would just still sit there. He's like, I want another book. Anyway, he loves the story about Scrooge, whatever, the night before, whatever it's called, the night before Christmas. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Well, whatever it's
Christmas
called,
Carol.
a Christmas
That was
Carol.
it. Yeah.
I'm all,
Night
that's
Before
not
Christmas
right.
is the,
That's the Halloween
rebel
one.
destroying Christmas.
Yeah.
But then they realize they love it.
Yeah. So he always, and he's asking all these questions, like, well, who's Scrooge? And like, wait, where's Bob Marley? And he's always asking all these questions. But it's just like that story where it's like, oh my gosh, that's the life. Like, you don't want to have a business just to like hoard your money and be a miser. Like, look at him at the end. He's like clacking his heels together, and like, he's happy because he's giving. And I think that's the whole purpose, is like, as we are grateful, more abundance comes, give more, help more people. And then it's just like, then it becomes that freight train of like, of course we're going to get more, because we're going to give it away and
Yeah.
it's going to be better for everybody. So
Yes.
why would we not? Right. Like, so it's exciting to look at those goals of like, the real goal is do really well so we can help more people, not like do really well so like only us get to have this fun
Yeah.
life just in our little teeny bubble. You know, that's not what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wonderfully said. Thank you. I'm hoping that others can pick up on what you said there and apply those into their lives, right? Gratitude is one of my favorite words. He's a president of a church, of the LDS church. He's also a renowned heart surgeon, President Nelson, right? Russell M. Nelson. And during the pandemic, there are a lot of people who are very, very sad and very just giving up on life, right? And he came on, he gave a broadcast to the world, and he said, gratitude will fix everything, right? And so if you're struggling out there and you need a dose of pick-me-up, right? Try to be grateful. When you say your prayers at night, maybe just give a grateful. Am I grateful? What am I grateful for? A gratitude prayer, right? Instead of going about the day and be like, oh, I hate traffic, or oh, I hate this, I hate that. Listen to your speech and that makes you feel bad, right? Or to say, I'm just grateful to have a car. I'm grateful that there's songs on, right? Oh, I'm grateful to live in the state of Utah, or wherever you live. I'm grateful that it's not snowing or a blizzard right now. I mean, there's so much to be grateful for, and that will literally melt away all of your issues for the most part.
Love
right?
it.
Yeah.
The other thing that the gratitude does for me, it puts me in a better perspective. Right. And that I think is just so huge. I love that, right? Gratitude is so amazing, so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We live in a very special time.
Yeah.
We always joke. I've never done anything like Trek, if you've heard of that, where you go and you're pretending like you're a pioneer. And
Yeah.
you got the cart.
Put yourself in a difficult.
I've never had that experience. I actually really wanted to, and I think I was pregnant when we got asked to, so then I was like, not a good time,
Yeah.
so we didn't go. But I would always think of that as like, well, at least we're not pioneers. I'm so grateful, right? Like it's like all you have to do is pretend you're a pioneer, and then your life is golden.
amazing.
Like,
Yeah. No, we have this big mountain we're in Utah County in the state of Utah. And we have this big mountain named Lehigh, right? And when you come up over the mountain, sometimes I think about what would it be like if we didn't have a car, right? If we didn't have a road, right? And we had to push something up and down this mountain in the snow, right? Without shoes on.
yeah.
I mean,
No,
there's
thank you.
just so much that life could be worse, right?
So
and we're all very grateful we were not born in that time, and we're very grateful for the people that were born in that time
Yeah.
and made it over here,
Yeah.
right? So very cool. To wrap things up just a little bit, what would be a qualification or an experience that someone needs to have in life in order to start a business like this? Can anyone own a medical clinic?
Easy answer, yes. Anybody can own a medical clinic, because we touched on it prior to where we've hired the professionals and they take care of all the medical care, right? I'm lucky enough that where I get to be in office and I get to welcome all the people that come in. I tease my wife, but I have 60 to 70, middle-aged women that I get to flirt with every day they come in, right? It's like, how are you enjoying that red light, Betty? Go shake it out on the shake machine, right? Like they come in, but they love it. It does so much good stuff for them. Like it's fun for me as well, right?
Yeah.
So honestly, anybody could open a health and wellness clinic like this, right? There's no secret sauce. It's just in the hard work and the elbow grease and just pushing it to get it done.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, we couldn't have done it without our partners for Time of Life for us.
Sure.
I was pregnant at the very beginning of like getting all this going, so like exhausted and whatever else, and just the whole build out of the space. It's just that grit and elbow
Huge
grease
effort.
of like
Yeah.
all the time
Dedication
and
from our
effort
partners
that
as well.
everybody put into it.
Mhm.
That's just something that you have to look at. Like, do you have the time? Because I would say if you're working a 9 to 5 and you're trying to pull this off in your spare time, probably that's going to be a little tough unless you have partners that are going to put in the hours, right? Or you somehow magically have all these funds to pay someone else to like make that happen for you, which that wasn't in the cards, right? Like we needed to get in there and make it happen. So that's what I would just say is, you do have to have that time available. You can't just like snap your fingers and make it happen, right?
Yeah. And I think that's the beautiful thing about owning businesses is you just need to have the right people in place in order to have the business be successful, right? Both of you have said that you don't know everything, right? You know a ton, and you're very passionate about this, right? But you don't know everything about it. But you have professionals who do, and that's the beauty of business. Is you just need to place those people in the correct spots in order to have a successful business.
Yeah.
A business is just about creating a team of professionals that have the same vision that you do, right?
Yep.
Last question is, what advice would you give to someone who's wanting to start their first business or jump into this industry? What's your one piece of advice that you would give somebody?
I honestly would piggyback on what you said. To me, everything in life is about connections and people. It's who you know.
Connect,
It's
talk to the right people.
It's who you know and what they know, and how that leads to the next thing, right? Like it's like I feel like our journey through life, we could like put a timeline with like people in it, right? And like, oh, and that person knew this person, and then that person knew this person.
Yeah.
So if you are passionate and want something to happen, then figure out who else is on that same page as you, and whether it's getting a medical professional to partner with you, or if it's not in the medical space, getting that person who's already there, but maybe they're not a business owner yet and they'd like to, and they just need to partner with you, and you both do that together, whatever that is. But making that team and connecting and finding who really makes that puzzle piece fit perfectly together.
Yeah.
And that's where the magic happens. It's really the people.
Yeah.
If you can find the right pieces, just like Rachel said, so like I'm lucky enough to be able to do consultations with everybody, because I like getting to know people and figure out what their health and wellness goals, and let's map out how we can help you get there. Our partners are good at marketing and back end stuff and inventory, and they do so many other things to help the business run that thank goodness I don't have to worry about, right? Like, so find a good partner, do your research, and like get in touch, ask as many questions as you can, learn as much about the industry as possible, right? Like, yeah.
Right. I would definitely say interviewing people in whatever space you want to enter and going into things with appropriate expectations are huge, right? Like, how long does it take to be profitable?
Yeah.
How much cash runway should we have? Those type of things, like really get into like the business nitty gritty, really vet things out and ask so many questions, because you don't know what you don't know. And that's where the scary part lies. So ask, figure it out, right? And you'll learn plenty that you forgot to ask along the way. And that's kind of the fun of it. And it makes you stronger for it, right?
The last thing I want to say with that is there's so many people who want the entire watermelon, right? They don't want to own a business unless they can have the entire watermelon, right? But if your watermelon is producing $2-3 million a year, and you can get a grape making $500,000, who wouldn't want that?
Go get that grape.
You know what I mean? So get out of that mindset and realize that you need partners, you need a team, not always, right? You can find your own thing eventually, but if this is your first business, you might need partners and you might need someone to help you, and that's okay, right? That's where the beauty.
Even recommended.
Yeah, for sure. Someone that maybe knows how to blaze the trail a little bit better than you do, and then from there you can mentor other people. You can start your own business, right?
The nice thing is 10% of something is better than 100% of nothing, right? Like just all day, every day, right? Like, and that's the other thing too, with this abundance mindset, there's so much to go around. You never need 100% of something, right? Like, because you don't know it all. You really just don't.
Right.
So, but I love that, Matt.
Yeah.
Matthew,
Awesome.
excuse me.
No, you're good. So where can they find you online? Where do they need to go in order to get this amazing stuff done so they can feel healthy?
Absolutely. So we are in Cottonwood Heights, Utah. Our website is purelifecottonwood.com, and that's PUR, no E on that. But yeah, we've got a fantastic, beautiful location. You can hop online, or you can just come on in or give us a call. What I would say is we do have an offer for the listeners, if that's appropriate.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. So what we'd like to offer, anybody that listens to that podcast, calls us in, sets an appointment, we do a full body biometric scan. And this is a great starting point to determine where you're at health and wellness wise. So anybody that's listening calls in and said, hey, I was listening to you guys on this podcast. So we'll do that free full body biometric scan and a free red light session, so you can see why I love it so much, right? Like, it's literally great. We'll do that for free for anybody, any of your listeners that call in and set that up for us.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. And we'll put all that information in the show notes. We'll do a link to where they can get the discount and the free body scan and everything like that. But thank you so much for coming on My Elevated Mindset Business Edition. And Man, thank you. I'm
Thank you for
super
having
appreciative
us.
of all
This was
your
awesome.
knowledge of
Yeah.
Pure Life, all the medical stuff you're doing, and best of luck for everything.
Well, thank you. Quick plug. This place is gorgeous. You guys are awesome. Super fun. Like, this was awesome. So thank you again for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.